Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I'd like to give you a guide for B4 in the Brawl Vortex Tower. Eligor is weak to ice, and interestingly, this B4 Eligor is the same as Crash Eligor, as his attack stat is exactly the same as in the Crash version, but now he also has over 3 million more HP. And here you really need a tank with Provoke, because Eligor will hyper focus on one character for most of the battle, and Eligor also uses lightning attacks, so you might want to equip some lightning resistance weapons if you struggle to survive. But Eligor will have ice gauges that you have to deplete, and after this you will summon phantoms that either you want to defeat with Shiva, and during those phases you'll target one of your characters, so ideally your tank, but also this battle is a DPS race as Eligor will inflict Doom status, so you have to defeat him before that timer reaches 0. For Eligor you could use either physical or magic ice DPS team, but you definitely need defensive buffs, as well as your tank needs very high defenses to survive. And Aerith is great, but now Matt also has his Madmara weapon and he can also debuff ice resistance as well. And I have Angel with Provoke weapon that buffs his magic defense and Store Integrity to buff physical defense. And with Cloud you can pretend it's Tifa, and then with Tifa you can also have Exploit Weakness weapon to give her extra damage boost. But with Cloud you could also use Lock if you have it. But my Cloud also has maxed out overspeed, but I won't be activating it, and I tried to leave some equipment slots empty to make this guide a little bit more accessible, so you can fill those spots with stat stakes yourself, but this battle is rather tough, especially on a tank. Matt has Dark Knight outfit with Gigantic Shield, Dior players for buffs and heals, Nautilus to debuff ice resistance, Ultimate, Cura for single target heals, and Silence to cure Angel of the status, and then sub-equipment slots to guild weapons with magic defense for allies and Brilliant Color with HP and heal. Angel has Odin outfit with Ad Astra, Gargantuan Monolith for Provoke, and also because it buffs Angel's magic defense and it makes it a lot easier for him to survive when he's being targeted by magic attacks. Then Store Integrity to buff physical defense of all allies, Ultimate Weapon, Breach, and a stat stack with physical defense, and then sub-equipment slots. Angel has a guild weapon with magic defense for allies, another guild weapon with physical defense for allies, and layer gloves with physical defense, and both guild weapon and gloves have lightning resistance. Cloud has Ice Arcanum outfit with Shiva, Stream Saber for DPS, Mystic is just for stats but ideally you want Lock to buff ice damage, Ultimate, 2 stat stacks with ice potency and magic defense, and then in sub-equipment slots Bald Eagle to boost physical attack and Mad Minute with HP. But also, as I said, you could have Tifa here instead of Cloud, especially with Daffodil to apply Exploit Weakness, and she will hit much harder. At the beginning of the battle, buff magic defense and with Angel Provoke as quickly as possible, and with your DPS either do Daffodil or Lock buffs first, but I don't have anything on Cloud, so he's just doing DPS for me. But here, just wait a few seconds, we have to watch this animation play out. But here immediately start debuffing ice resistance, and also with Angel cast physical defense buff, because all those attacks they are debuffing his physical defense. And he also needs to survive. Alright, Breach here, because ideally you want to deplete this gauge in time to stun Eligor, because then his attack will just be cancelled. And actually Blizzara. Perfect. Attack cancelled, so we don't have to worry about anything. So breach. And now those phantoms and... oh, actually I have to recast provoke. Always pay attention to provoke, because even if he would provoke right after he found his target, he will not switch it. So most likely you have to restart the battle. But also... right, yeah, let's do Shiva, because you want to defeat those phantoms as quickly as possible. They are just annoying, especially with casting silence. Right, one more and perfect. Angel's magic defense is buffed, so he will take just a little bit damage. Yeah, that was a tickle. But yeah, all those attacks, they debuff Angel's magic defense, so for those phases Gargantuan Monolith is amazing. Because you won't be able to just buff magic defense enough with your healer alone. So here, Gargantuan Monolith is great. And same thing, just try to survive with Angio, and sometimes it's great to switch to defense to take less damage, so it'll be much easier to recover. Alright, we should be getting seconds. Yeah, here's the second ice gauge. And whenever you see those ice gauges, he is also buffing his lightning damage, so be careful of that, because every time he buffs it, he will do more damage to you, so it'll be harder to survive. But also as emergency, we could always use Angios' ultimate weapon to buff his defenses if you really need to. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to debuff it in time. Let's see. This will be close. Alright. Angio won't die, because I was able to deplete this gauge in time, otherwise he would most likely get a lot of damage inflicted. But we still got hit, but because the gauge was depleted, he just took a little bit of damage. But also here, I am not going to use Shiva because I want to cast all 3 limit breaks. But now we have to deal with phantoms for a few seconds. But why I'm waiting? Because I want to take full effect of Ad Astra to tank the damage from the boss. So just a little bit more. Alright, our defense is buffed, so let's now cast it. And we will be very safe here. Perfect. That's alright. Alright, great. So now try to recover, but also now we'll have to deplete, well, debuff ice resistance again. And I'm just waiting for silence to expire. I'm sure you can cast Asuna silence whenever you want to. And what? Third? Yeah. Third ice gauge. And now his lightning points is +3 already, so he'll be doing even more damage now, so be careful. And at this point I would say you definitely want to be careful and be switching to defense. Alright, let's heal on Geo. And one more attack, hopefully. Alright, perfect. So, one attack while he's stunned, because the stun is so quick. Also, yes, there is still a bit time. But here you could use Diamond Dust to finish it off. But the battle is the same, there's no real DPS race. It's just about surviving, because every time he does those gauges, he buffs his lightning potency by 1 tier, so it gets harder to survive. But you just want to finish him off. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that this is basically Crash, but with even more HP. Because since then we only got overspeed and not really much else. We didn't get level cap increase, either character or weapon level cap increase, so not much, and we basically got a little bit harder version of Crash. But yeah, that would be the guide, so I hope you found it helpful, and in the meantime, good luck on your own clear, but also thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.